News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
Well, in case you haven't heard, there's a big game brewing tomorrow. Number 1 ranked Georgia heading to Columbia, taking on South Carolina. This rivalry dating back more than 100 years. Laura Warren live for us over at Border Bash at SRP Park. It'll be packed with fans later on this evening and just a lot of people who love a good party.
Yeah, and football fans do not have to worry about a rain out tonight. Riley's going to explain more in just a moment, but it is feeling so nice out there. And first at 5, the setup is done. The vendors are ready for business.
Arts in the Heart, the biggest event in downtown Augusta, attracting almost 95,000 people year after year. Here's a live look at downtown Augusta where Hallie Turner has been all day long.
Yeah, and Hallie, what has the crowd been like today?
Okay, so things are just getting started out here. Actually, the band right here, if you'll pan this way, they just got started. But what we have going on right now is everyone is kind of crowding out towards the food booths. There's 18 international food booths out here. But one thing that caught my eye was the Jamaica food booth. They took everything but the kitchen sink to a whole new level. They've got a refrigerator out here that we're going to zoom in on. They're serving jerk chicken, curry, oxtail, and they even have an oven all the way over here. Let's take a look at this oven where they're serving some beef patties. Do you mind if I open this? You can open it. Oh, look at that. Beef patties. It is just a taste of Jamaica. And Gloria right here was telling me a little bit earlier, why do you love doing this? So can you tell us, what is special about bringing Jamaica to Augusta?
To really know about Jamaica, I like the music in my ears. To put Jamaica again on the map. We always, everywhere you go in the world, there's a Jamaican. I went to Germany, and the places I went to Germany, there was Jamaican all over the world. So I love Jamaica.
And absolutely, how long, we were talking earlier, how long have you guys been prepping for today's event?
Oh, since Monday.
And tell me, what do we prep?
We prep chicken. We wash the chicken in cold water, salt, vinegar, and lime, and then
And that's this chicken right over here. That's on the grill.
right over here.
So we washed it,
And then we pull the skin back and we salt it, and then we put the jerk sauce in it, and then we lit it in the refrigerator for a good while, 48 hours, make it sit in the refrigerator.
absolutely. And what do you find that people are coming up to your booth and asking the most for?
Jerk chicken and oxtail. Oxtail is our biggest seller.
Absolutely. Well, Ms. Gloria, we thank you so much, and we'll take a look right on down here. We'll give you a quick look. This is the Jamaica tent. Well, India's right down here. And as you can hear, the band is kicking up pretty loud right here. It's almost like Dodge a golf cart or a person out here. We got China and so much more. And if you want to come out, the food, each one has a price list right here. The price list is listed here, and you can figure out how much to do. And admission is, again, $15 if you haven't already bought your tickets online. So we'll send it back to you guys and hear some more from the vendors.
I know, I'm hungry now, Hallie.
Everything Jamaican chicken over there. And it's dinner time right now for a lot of people. The festival just getting underway. A lot of crowds heading downtown for dinner tonight.
Yeah, and it's that we just talked about the food. There's also arts and crafts vendors. So much fun stuff. We'll check back in with Hallie a little bit later on tonight.
Hallie, thanks a lot. Nice job out there. Moving on now, several Burke County high school students recovering after investigators say a school resource deputy deployed his OC spray while breaking up a fight. The Burke County Sheriff's Office says it was called to the high school in reference to several students fighting. While attempting to break up the fight, investigators say a resource deputy deployed that OC spray. Several students irritated by the spray. Burke County EMA providing aid to those affected students. Investigators tell us the students directly involved in the fight have been detained, their parents notified, and charges are pending.
New game security changes for Burke County tonight. New rules say children under 14 will not be allowed in the stadium unless they are accompanied by an adult. Children are to remain with their parents during the game, and their parents are asked to escort small children to and from the restrooms and the concession area. So it's not enough just to be at the game with them. Similar rules now at Allendale Fairfax High School and at Jefferson County. So parents, take note.
It's happening more and more at different stadiums across the river region. Let's give a live look outside now because that's SR.
But going to Aiken, beautiful weather over Aiken. Temperatures there 84 degrees, lots of sunshine. We'll have much more of the rest of the week's outlook in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, in Aiken today, a victim was shot and injured in a robbery this morning. Aiken County deputies say it happened just after 6:30 on King Street. They say that as they arrived, a car was speeding away from the scene and the suspect went up Highway 19 onto I-20 before making their way into Georgia near Hornsby Elementary. Deputies say he tried to run but was eventually caught. They say he is 34-year-old Quentin Lister. We are still waiting on his mugshot. We're told the victim was shot. Oh, there we go. We have just received his mugshot. The victim was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital.
Congress closer to getting the final recommendations to rename Fort Gordon and 8 other military installations. The panel will be releasing its recommendations in parts. One recommendation says Fort Gordon will be renamed Fort Eisenhower. Another suggests removing Confederate monument at Arlington National Cemetery, and it lists minor assets like streets, water towers, athletic fields, hospitals that should also be renamed. The total price tag for all of it right around $62 million. A century-old rivalry gets its next chapter with #1 ranked Georgia taking on South Carolina tomorrow, and we are ready in the studio.
Yes, we are.
Ready at SRP Park. The game kicks off at noon, but you know what? The pregame party obviously has already started.
It has, and you know what? I'm not the only one who brought the spirit. Well, I may be the only one who brought the spirit at News 12 today. I know a lot of you went to work like this, right? Anyway, the party at SRP Park is going strong. It's going to be jam-packed with fans, and some that, you know, you're not a fan of the Dogs or the Gamecocks. You just happen to love college football.
Yeah, that's Laura Warren live from the fans zone at SRP Park. She says the energy has really been great, and we're just getting started. Laura.
Yeah, and the gates just opened at 4 o'clock, and people are slowly starting to trickle in as work gets off on a Friday. More and more people will start coming out here, but we're in the fan zone right now. This is where the kids are hanging out. They're starting to trickle in as well. This is John Michael. You may know my little boy. He's holding up the kid zone over here. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff planned for the entire night. Not only do they have vendors, they also have bands taking the stage. Just a few minutes ago, Greg Hester just took the stage, and I did just get confirmation that the UGA cheerleaders just arrived, so we will have an update from them coming up, and I know they brought the spirit, but I can report that the Gamecocks have been very quiet as they were coming in the gates. There was not a lot of squawking today. And you know what? I can say as a Georgia fan, they've been pretty quiet too. You know, they're not rubbing it in. So we'll just have to see. That's why the game's played. But I think the Dogs are liking their odds this year.
Laura Warren, a biased Bulldog, but you know what? So is Meredith Anderson.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't think anybody can tell what team I cheer for.
I'm in a tough spot. My wife's a Georgia Bulldog. My son is a South Carolina Gamecock. I just chose a lot of black today.
There you go.
Black is the neutral color this weekend in Augusta, Georgia. Laura, thanks. We're going to check in with you a little bit later on. Here's another border bash to talk about, too.
Yep.
A trash bash at the border. The goal here is to pick up litter along the Savannah River. Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis and North Augusta Mayor Britton Williams officially challenging each other once again this year. Which city can turn out the most volunteers and clean up the most trash? This is a win-win. It's going to be from 9 in the morning until 11. The mayor with the least amount of volunteers, well, they've got to wear the opposing team's shirt and present the winner with a mayor's cup. So that's humiliating. Augusta won last year's challenge, by the way, so come on, North Augusta, step it up. If you want to join the cause, North Augusta volunteers meeting at the Sharon Jones Amphitheater right there on the river at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then over in Georgia, volunteers in the parking lot off Reynolds Street across the street from the Augusta Common. Should be a great morning for that.
Still to come, the University of South Carolina is launching cutting-edge technology partnerships. After the break, our State House reporter Mary Green has what you can expect. Riley?
Well, the forecast is staying dry for all our outdoor events this weekend, but temperatures will be going up. We'll have a look at the full forecast just after the break. to the mid-90s by next Wednesday and Thursday.
Sounds good, Riley. Thank you. South Carolina leaders believe an innovative public-private partnership through the state's largest university will strengthen the economy in both the short and long term.
And today, that partnership got even bigger. Mary Green has the details for us from Columbia.
At the center behind me, University of South Carolina students help solve problems that are facing the state's companies in areas like healthcare, manufacturing, and civil infrastructure. The university says this is a mutually beneficial partnership that works for both its students and for the businesses that operate in South Carolina.
A company like an IBM goes in and integrates that built solution by our students into the company like a BMW.
The center's director says students are not just developing their skills, but also learning how to push science forward and make sure it translates applicably to the state's industry. In the short term, that's helping companies that have chosen to build or relocate to South Carolina. In the longer term, it's also building up the state's future workforce. The center says many of the students who work here are also staying to work in South Carolina after graduating because of the opportunities they got in college. The center's now brought on a new partner, Verizon, to bring 5G connectivity here and expand the capabilities of what they can do.
5G basically is like a highway with many lanes. And as you go to improve manufacturing processes, healthcare processes, you bring in a lot of sensors, there's a lot of data going back and forth, and in order for that communication to actually be managed, you need to have these extra lanes that 5G provides.
And Governor Henry McMaster said today this is another example of the communication, collaboration, and cooperation between the public and private sectors that's working to benefit South Carolinians. Reporting in Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
Verizon says this collaboration with USC is one of just 5 of its kind that it has with universities across the country.
Good for students, good for businesses, so that's a win-win.
Earlier this week, we got a look at how South Carolina is handling the new 988 crisis calls, but now it's all eyes on Georgia. We have more news after the break.
Chevy.com. We'll do whatever it takes.
Quick. 3 numbers, that's all you need to know if you ever find yourself in a mental health crisis.
The 988 hotline rolled out this summer, and new numbers say thousands of Georgians are already relying on the service. Patrick Quinn has the details.
The 988 helpline in Georgia is proving to be a hit. Callers in crisis getting help. Since the hotline launched in July, 476 calls resulted in active rescues of people whose lives were believed to be in danger. 10% of those dialing in distress were teens.
This says to me that if teens are reaching out, we need to meet them where they are.
Rachel Holloman with the state's Department of Behavioral Health said since the pandemic, suicides and suicide attempts from teens spiked.
Teens who are very social beings lost all of that. They lost their support groups, they lost their protective factors.
Holloman recognized social media for teens is also a troubling trigger.
Just feeling isolated during this time. Feeling overwhelmed.
Joseph Stone was in the foster system till he was 21. Now at the AmeriGroup Community Service Center, he helps route teens to mental health resources.
Not feeling heard or seen, and now I get to be on the other side of that and advocate, assist, stand up, feel proud.
For Suicide Prevention Month, Stone and others held a fair and vigil in Southwest Atlanta. The message was simple. If you're hurting, speak up. For whether in person or on the phone, there's plenty of Georgians lining up to listen.
We want to normalize among our teenage population in Georgia talking about mental health, talking about suicide prevention, knowing that it's okay to not be okay and it's okay to ask for help.
Well, if you have any outdoor plans for the weekend, the weather looks great. Low humidity, lots of sunshine. High temperatures will be a little bit warmer, though, into the upper 80s. Now look at that full 7 day just after the break.
All right.